world? It's your man HeadKrack, and welcome back to another episode of Trim and True, where the cut meets the culture, and every conversation is as clean as the fade. Today, we're stepping into the private barbershop of financial strategist and numbers ninja Mikael Oliver. In a world where first impressions can seal deals or lose them, showing up sharp isn't optional, it's essential. And behind the blade today, the ever-precise, ever-consistent Stefan Innis, a barber who knows that in business and in grooming, the margin for error is razor thin. Let's talk finance, focus, and fresh fades. This is Trim and True. Sharp mind, sharper line. Yo, man, BX representation in the house. Stefan Innis is in the building.
What's going on?
Originally from the Bronx, New York.
100%. Yep.
A lot of unique styles come out of the Bronx. Who do you feel like has the most iconic hairstyle out of everybody that's ever came out of the Bronx?
Bronx.
I know it's a tough question.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough question because ain't too many people that came from the Bronx that's like big other than Big Pun, Fat Joe.
Oh, we got Tracy Morgan, but like, you know.
Yeah, you know, he followed the Nas cut, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, high tops was the style at that time, growing up, and even all over. The cats is like simple in New York sometimes, you know, so it's kind of different. Like when you come to the city, like Atlanta, that's when you get to more like different styles to a little bit, you know.
Very diverse out in Atlanta.
New York will be just skin fade, nice little lineup, ice pick. People don't even know what the ice pick is.
Oh,
nowadays,
the little thin joint,
little thin joints, exactly. So that was like basically New York. If you could line and do a razor, you money.
How did you get into the barbering game?
Shit, I was an artist, so I used to always draw. And then when I was in 10th grade, I was like, I don't got a barber in upstate New York because I moved from the Bronx to Poughkeepsie, so I didn't have a barber up there. So I was like, man, I don't trust people cutting my hair, So I was like, fuck it, let me get a lineup, let me get liners, and I started doing myself.
What did you start with?
I started with the liners, you know what I mean?
Was it the Andes or the wall?
Yeah, the Andes,
Okay.
the gray liners, T-out liner.
Yep.
And after that, I started with like a Walmart brand walls trimmers, start cutting my hair there. Then I started growing it, so I ended up having long hair. So I was like, I don't need to cut it. I just line myself up, and then I end up start getting good in it. So I started cutting people in my school.
Now, if you could look at photos of yourself from when you were cutting your own hair and grade yourself currently, what would you give yourself back then?
Whew. I give myself a 7. I give it a 7, about a 7.
That's still passing.
Yeah.
You was doing your thing.
That's a blessing, That's a blessing.
So when did you get to the point to where you felt nice enough to like not only just experiment on yourself, but to take your talents to the world and begin servicing professionals like Mikael?
So, I don't know, I always had that thing of like, I'm nice, you know what I mean? So it's like, yo, you can't tell me nothing, but I did go through those rough times that I cut somebody and I messed them up. I had that little sweat, like, damn, oh man, But honestly, it took me like 13 years ago. 13 years ago, that's when I was like, okay, I got it. I know everything. Like my biggest weakness was the skin fade.
Now, what is it about the skin fade that was so difficult?
My problem was I always was going up. Like it would start from here, but it would gradually keep on going up. And I'm like, dang, I'm trying to take the line out and I can't take it, But once I mastered that, everything was easier.
That was the final stage, boss.
Yes, final stage, exactly. I couldn't stop, I had to master that.
So when you have, when you get to the point where you like start getting a lot of high profile clients, right? Does that change your approach because you know what does it help to know what your clients do so you could better serve the look that they're going for? Because, you know, some people have to make presentations. Some people on television. Some people are just, I just need to shape up. I'm retired. Does that change your approach to how you cut people?
Honestly, no. I treat everybody like they're a regular person, So I don't, any celebrity I cut, anybody, I treat you like you're a normal person.
That's what's up.
So at the end of the day, how I look at it, you in my chair. So I'm the celebrity.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like you came to get a cut from me. So I'm making sure that you're getting exactly what you want.
Solid. Everybody's a star.
Exactly.
Who was the barber that changed your life? Like the guy who, like, no matter what was going on in the world, you knew you sit in his chair, he gonna get you together, you gonna walk out, chest out like Superman.
Rest in peace, Darius. When I first moved down here, he actually, so I was cutting hair in Bankhead. I was like just trying to figure out, because I actually did construction when I first moved down here.
Okay.
So after construction, I end up looking for, jobs, little part-time jobs here and there. And then I end up going to this one shop and I saw his work, like off of his camera. And I was like, this is the guy I need to learn from.
Wow.
This is the guy I need to learn from, Gave me problems, but rest in peace, this guy was amazing,
Now, what kind of problems? Was it just like y'all had a different student-teacher style than the average person?
To extent, and, he had certain personalities, but, as a barber, he was amazing.
Okay. You've had the opportunity to work in different aspects of the barber game. Like, right now you're more like mobile, occasionally like, bringing people to your private spot.
Yeah.
But, being in a traditional barbershop setting, what's the wildest thing you ever seen pop off in a barbershop?
Ooh. Somebody came with a rock trying to hit one of the barbers,
Was this over a bad cut?
No, he was just, he had mental issues.
Okay.
Mental issues. I seen fights in the shop. I seen a guy pull out a pistol in the shop because they used to gamble in the shop, at nighttime. So I seen a lot,
It's crazy how in all these situations, this was all back home, wasn't it?
Some was back home.
Okay.
And some was here.
All right. So,
and the person pulled out a pistol right in front of the shop and was gun butting somebody. And luckily, the shop that I said in Bankhead, we had like a little buzzer, so nobody could just enter. You know what I mean? And the guy that I was saying, Darius, he had 2 clients coming in, and like we was ready to buzz them in, and then you all have seen somebody coming out with a gun to somebody else. So right when we seen that, I'm hurrying up the guy to come in, buzz them in. Once he came in, the guy that's getting gun butt tried to run in the shop. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
There's kids in here.
I get it.
It's kind of hard,
it's one of those quick time events where you gotta try to make the right decision.
100%.
And the difference between protecting one person or protecting a room full of people.
100%, because especially nowadays too, you never know. More eyes, people feel like, oh, I got to get rid of.
Yeah.
And I had to protect the people that's inside.
So how did that end?
It ended okay because he was alive. That's a bless, but it was all for a drug situation,
That used to be the root of
100%.
some things. I was telling a story not too long ago about there was on MLK, like one of the spots over there in Atlanta. The weed guy got into it with the bootleg DVD guy, and this wasn't even 15 years ago. This was like 5.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the DVD guy was still outside like that.
Agree. Like that's exactly what it was. Well, for some weed and territory situation.
The guy just part of the same story.
The guy just came out of prison. He had 2 strikes and stuff. So like his 3rd strike, he would get in trouble, get life, and he just have a daughter. So he's trying to do better, but couldn't do better. He had his work on the others across the street and his other things. So they looked at him and said, "I told you not to be in our turf anymore." So it was all about turf.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yo, man, territory. Territory
Exactly.
is big.
100%.
And barbers have the opportunity to occupy territory that usually therapists and psychiatrists also occupy.
100%.
How do you personally manage the weight of everybody's stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, a lot of times barbers will know more things about a client than their spouses or their best
100%.
friends would know. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with the mental load of like carrying all of that?
I try to work out, keep my mind, clear and stuff. But I go through hearing a lot of clients' problems, and it gets you sometimes because you feel bad sometimes, what they going through, and you just try to encourage them like, yo, things is gonna be good. Get this nice haircut. Try to focus on the positive, not the negative. Because a lot of people don't really have people to talk to too. That's the craziest part. They have family, but they can't talk to them.
Right.
Because the family will overlook what they saying, or even a spouse sometimes. And they be to a point ready to crash out. And once they get that haircut, they like, dang. Like perfect example, there was this guy. I don't know what he was going through at that time, but he was just quiet, right? And so after I gave him a haircut, I was just talking, making him laugh, but you could see his energy start coming down. Like his posture was like up,
Right.
but more and more it started lowering it down, and he started getting real comfortable. And after the haircut, he was like, "Bro, I appreciate you, man. Like, yo, you really did something. Like, I love the haircut. Like, I was going through something. I was like," and I could tell he was about to crash out. And I was like, "Yo, nothing. It's nothing but love, bro." And we gave each other a hug, and it was like something everything just released.
Yeah. That
and
weight gets lifted.
100%.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'll be back." And that honestly, that's how I build my clients. I build it off a relationship of, I like talking shit, so I talk shit. So if you whatever team you are, I'm gonna talk shit to you. You know what I mean? If you're an NFL player, I cut a couple of NFL players. I tell them right now, I'm a Giants fan. Even though I'm trying to be a Giants fan right now because of Shador situation, but
Okay.
Other than that, but we build that relationship of communications and talking shit.
Yo, it's a tough juggling act. You know what I
100%.
mean? Because like,
Yeah.
not only do you gotta like, make people laugh, make them look good, hear their problems, be an
Yep.
attentive listener,
100%.
and then also retain all those secrets. Because there's a weight that comes with that sometimes,
Agree. And you got to remember every situation, or like, what they went through. So when they come back, you're like, yo, how was that situation? Did you get that job? Or did you handle that? Did you talk to your girl the way I told you to, because you was a little bit hostile at the moment, Did you calm down? Yeah, I did. I appreciate it. What I mean? Everything went smoother,
Good.
So I wish sometimes it could go reverse with me sometimes, because
Has there ever been a situation where the roles were reversed and the person that was sitting in the chair was then your therapist?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. I got some of those clients that I could really talk to, that knows me,
Gotcha.
so I could really talk to, and they understand, and they walk me through what I'm going through, so that's the great bond I have with some of those clients, and I cherish that a lot.
Got you. Now, even like anybody can have a bad night, bad day.
100%.
Barbers included, right? What's a situation where like maybe you zeked the client and you had to cover it up like a dead body? You know what I mean? And try to figure out how can we make this look like this ain't as bad as it is?
Bro, man, I had 2 bad ones that there was no coming back. There was no coming back. I gave him it was like a high top, and it was actually good at first. And he was like, "Yeah, I like this, but can you take a little bit off, like 2 inches?" And I was like, "All right, not a problem." Not knowing, and I was younger in the game, his crown right here,
Oh, a little thin.
it was already to a point that it was like I could only take like that much, and I didn't know. So when I took like the 2 inches that he told me, I ended up seeing a bald spot. When I tell you I tried everything to make it work, I'm in a drench of sweat because I'm so like nervous. I was like, God damn, oh my God. Right when he see this. So he looked at it, he was like, oh yeah, it's nice. Oh, can you cut this all off? Like he looked down and I said, yep, it's over. You know what I mean? Once he saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize. He was like, oh no, it's just here. I was like, shit, all right. You know, so but I gave him it. I was like, it's on me, because that's like my motto of, if I don't give you exactly what you want, it's on me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And majority of the time, it never happens. You know, but that particular time it was. And then the second time, I didn't have all the proper gear, the guards, because I was, like I said, I was doing construction, and then I started working in the shop after, and I was cutting a Spanish guy, and I was asking one of the barbers, can I hold one of their guards, and they was being a little selfish. So because like I said, I didn't have proper guards, so I tried to cut it, and it took us about longer than it's supposed to. So he was like, how long you been cutting? So I was like, about 6 years at that time. And he was like, okay, well, you should stop. And then walked off.
The Spanish guy said that?
Spanish guy said that. He was like, he said, well, you should stop, with a straight face, and just walked off. Normally, some people would be like, damn, I need to stop then, yo. Yeah. But I knew my talent. I knew that I didn't have the proper guards. I knew everything like that. So I was like, yo, you ain't gonna get me. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna cut. I'm still gonna learn. I'm still gonna get better, you know?
So going back to the first guy, Afro guy.
Okay.
Did he come back?
Nah. He was cool though, but he said nah. I respect it. I mean, you can't win it all.
You can't win them all, for real.
Can't win it all.
Cool.
You know?
Right. So we go bring Mikael in, and then then we'll do both of y'all together. Okay. Nah, man, great stories, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yo, man, Mikael Oliver. Man, appreciate you allowing us to be in your exclusive lair here. You know what I mean?
It's the daughter. I thought this was gonna be the man cave, but it became the play cave.
So you recently acquired a young princess into your world that kind of has changed the whole dynamic of how you move.
Straight dad girl.
That's what's up.
Yeah. I never felt love like that before until you become a parent.
Yo, like the energy that you have about it is the epitome of everything I've ever heard anybody say that, like, like having a daughter will do for you. I failed at having a daughter 4 times.
Wow, yeah. God knew what he was doing when he gave me a daughter. You look at life, women. As a man, I've been married I've been with my wife almost 15 years.
Congrats on that.
But we love women, but when you have a daughter, it's different. It's a whole nother path in your heart that's created.
Yo, so like you currently exist in the world of finance. Money makes the world go round.
Yeah.
You help people move their money around. How did finance find you?
Well, day one, I was born 30 minutes outside of Wall Street. And growing up, I some of the heroes in my community that I looked up to, friends, parents, and people that I saw worked on Wall Street. And so arriving at Morehouse, I immediately knew I wanted to be a finance major. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, but I knew I needed to understand finance. And that led to, me wanting to be a wolf on Wall Street. But I didn't know how to get there. I thought I needed to go MBA, so forth. And so immediately after school, before the stock market crashed, 2007, 2008, when I left Morehouse. And so it was like, there were no finance jobs. So I backdoored into the car business and looking at people's personal credit, working with banks, talking to them. And that led to me getting a financial advisor. I started making decent money, and my wife was finishing medical school, dental school, and financial advisors kept knocking on our door and really understanding what they did from the wealth management standpoint. And one of them told me, walked in my office, said, if I look like you in Atlanta, I'll be one of the best financial advisors in the world. I said, what does that mean? And he said, let me introduce you to my partner. At the time, the firm was with Northwestern Mutual, and that took off. That was 2016 that conversation started. We got married 2016. I knew I wanted to be a business owner in some aspect, but I didn't know there was a lack of financial advisors that looked like me in the city of Atlanta. So I said, who's managing our parents' money? Who's managing our people in our community money? And what does that look like? How do I build that business? And lo and behold, at the time I was 34, 35. I was the oldest advisor in our office that looked like me, and took off from there. It became love at first sight. It's not really work, it's a service. I was just figuring out how to help friends and people in my community save money. I was really good at getting them to spend more money on cars and so forth, buying the cars they wanted and getting debt. And I was looking at, hey, their credit scores and how much money they make, but none of them had financial advisors. None of them were actually putting money invested, paying themselves. And so that led to me going down the wheelhouse of wanting to get in wealth management, and I joined our firm, and then that was 2018. It's been great, and we've just been helping our community save. We were underinsured, we were undersaved, we didn't have enough in retirement. Only thing they knew was 401k.
Right.
And so that led to me wanting to grow and learn more about finance and grow the wealth management business. And so it's been really good, and we've got a long road to go, but we're carving out our way in wealth in our community.
Yo, there's so much there. You mentioned when you was working in the automotive industry, like selling cars. Yeah, you're figuring out ways to get people into that, even though they get the things that they want out of it, and to flip that script and being able to
I was
have
the super bad guy. I was the guy. Once you figure out how I'm gonna buy this car, my car payment was gonna be $400 or $500 a month. I was the guy to make it go up to $500-600 a month. I was the finance guy, and then you had a budget. And I was like, hey, you got $100 more for these warranties and this gap insurance. Looking back at it now, it's like, man, if I can get people to just save $400 or $500 a month of their income and invest it, where would we be as a community? Where would your life be? And that's the goal now.
For everybody watching, do we really need that gap insurance?
Yes and no. I don't want you to need it. If you're putting down enough money and you're buying a car right, and you're not rolling over negative equity and so forth, you don't need gap insurance.
Okay.
And then even if you get it, once you get 2 to 3 years into the car, you should be where the car value kind of is equal. But as long as you are putting down at least 25% to 20% of the car, and you're not rolling a bunch of negative equity, you don't really need gap insurance.
Okay. Now, being in the finance business, even from a sales perspective, you know what I'm saying? Your face forward. You know what I'm saying? Always got to have a look, whatever that look may be.
Yeah.
Sometimes people think, beards and mustaches, I don't know if I can trust this guy. I don't like the cut of his beard.
Yeah.
How much attention did you put into your personal appearance as it aligns with what you do currently?
Good question. So I'm old school. Mother never allowed me to have long hair. I come from an institution at Morehouse where we couldn't have facial hair. We had to come in class with a jacket, shirt and tie. And if you did have facial hair, it had to be really, really well groomed. We couldn't have earrings. So for me, and it's almost like the political area now. I think today we're a little bit more open to having a look, a distinctive look, but you still gotta be well groomed. So it's important to me because I feel that's your first law of attraction. For a man, the only thing we don't have women. You can be well dressed, but it's your neck up, and I feel like it's very disarming if you're well groomed, if you do have facial hair, if it's nice and neat. But your haircut is everything.
Yeah.
Your style is everything, especially in our community. The barbershop starts at the barbershop. I'm a every week haircut guy. Some guys is every 2 weeks, but I've never had really long hair, so I just try to keep it fresh and neat and tight. And I feel like that's welcoming to people, clients, businesses, when you have a well-groomed, well-dressed person presenting to you.
Makes
It
sense.
sells.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself. So if I look like this and so forth, you're like, are you making time to present? Are you attracting people? And so that's what we strive to do.
That's what's up. Now, how did you meet Stefan?
From the car business as well. This is 2012. 2012. He kept me around. I kept him around. But you get rid of your barber, you get rid of your hairline, right? You change your barber. So he kept my. I'm 42, so he kept my hairline. I still got it. But we stayed friends. We connected, and I just been following him around. He's a brother to me, so been following around ever since. And so I really look forward to our weekly conversations. Easy, he's a Giants fan, both from the Northeast, and keeps my hairline.
That's one of the most important things. Like, the hairline is edges for men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm holding on. It's getting light. I'm holding on.
Hey, long as we got something to hold on to. You know what I mean? Some people got nothing. Shout out to Scatman Crothers and Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, LeBron.
Yeah, they out of here, man.
No implants here, right?
Man, so, what was your favorite hairstyle growing up? Like, when you was a kid, and I know your mom said, your mom didn't like you have nothing long, but, what was your go-to?
The fade. I think I had a fade for 40 years, maybe. I actually have. I've tried to venture out. I'll go through like a midlife crisis and try to get a mohawk. And then that was pre-finance days. So like, hey, let me grow it out. I think right before I got married and right before I changed the careers, I had a little mohawk. I was like, I'm not a rapper. I'm not an artist. I'm in finance. I want to look like a lawyer. I want to look like a politician. But growing up, my go-to haircut was probably back then. Maybe I had a flat top. I think I had a little flat top fade, or what you call it? We call it a Brooklyn.
I think every region has a different thing they call it. Sometimes they'll name it after the artist that looks the most like.
A little Brooklyn.
So we talking like Big Daddy Kane hot top fade, or we talking like the tall, like the
no.
Okay.
This or I used to have, let's call it the Nas look. That was always proper.
Okay, little half moon part?
Yeah, I had a little swiggly part. Yep.
Okay.
And, I'll get bored every time, throw a part in. What are you talking about? Get a part. Keep me looking young or something,
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, what hairstyle did you have when you met your wife?
That's a sore subject. She said I got married and changed careers and then cut my hair off. Because that was the mohawk phase.
Oh.
So like that. I'm sorry. When we got married, I leave the barbershop right before our wedding, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't want my pictures to look like this. Like, I wanted to look timeless, and so I get my hair cut, and she hadn't seen me. She's like, what did you? Like hours before the wedding, like, what'd you do? And so, but when I met her, I was at Morehouse, so we met in college. So I was probably the fade guy.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I look like how she met me.
There it is.
Might have had a little part or something. That was back in 2005. So whatever style was going on back then. Yeah.
All right. Well, yo, listen, we gonna bring Stefan in here.
We're
gonna get trim and true with it. Let's get it.
Trim and true.
Man, what a session. Big love to Mikael Oliver for breaking down how looking the part plays a real role in how you're received and respected in business. And shout out to Stefan Innis for reminding us that a skilled barber isn't just grooming heads. They're shaping confidence, consistency, and personal brands every single cut. Whether your accounting stacks or checking stats, how you show up matters. And like Mikael said, sharp mind, sharper line. This is Trim and True, where style meets substance and every chair tells a story. Until next time, stay focused, stay fresh, and stay true.